Alright, so for making the mallet head with the hole in it, okay, I'm not going to necessarily draw out a detailed mallet head. I will kind of show you the general dimensions. So the width of it, the diameter, is going to be 1.5 inches. And so I'm going to take 1.5 inches and divide it by 2, which gets you probably 3/4 of an inch. And then the height of this mallet is 3 inches. So I'm just essentially just making a rectangle. If you want to make this more fancy, so add in your curves or anything like that, then this is where you would do that. Finish my sketch, and then I'm going to revolve this around the center. So there is essentially my mallet right there. Okay. What a lot of people have questions about is how do I add the hole on the cylinder? And so what you have to do to make this happen is you must use your work planes. So over here under the origin folder, you have all these work planes that you can work with. And so I need a work plane that cuts it right down the middle, which is what's happening right here. So in my case, it's the YZ plane. It may be a different plane for you depending on how you draw this. So for me, in this case, it's the YZ plane. After that, I need to offset that work plane. So I'm going to click on offset plane, and I'm going to drag the work plane off of the part. So it's going to hover above it just a little bit. Really what I should do is make it 0.75 because that's going to put it exactly on top. So that's where my work plane is. You can see that's directly on top of there, so that looks good. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and start my 2D sketch. And so once again, you have to have a work plane in order to draw your 2D sketch. I'm going to click on Project Geometry, which essentially moves these lines up onto the work plane. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about as I rotate this around. It projected these lines. And then I'm going to use the point tool, because the point tool is what's used to add your hole. So the point is kind of in the middle, but I'm going to go ahead and dimension it from here to the bottom of this projected line, 1.5 inches, because that's half a 3. Finish my sketch, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on my hole tool. And it's going to go ahead and snap to that point. The last hole that I used was actually this counter bore, but I'm not going to worry about this time. I'm just going to use a generic hole, and it's going to go to a specific distance. Let's see, distance right here. The depth of this currently is 1 inch. I'm going to make it 0.5 at a diameter of, I don't know, I have no idea what this shape is actually, so I'm going to go look. So mallet, let's see, so this is the thread type. It's a depth of 0.63 inches, and it's 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so 0.63 inches, 5/8 of an inch at a depth of 0.63. So 5/8, 0.63. All right. So 5/8 at a depth of 0.63 inches. All right, so that seems about right. I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And so now I have my hole on this object. It is missing the thread, however, so I'm going to click on thread, and then I'm going to click on what I want threaded. Obviously, I don't want the outside of this threaded, I just want the inside of that threaded. And the specification, this is where I can go find it, 5/8-11 UNC. I think that's what it was, 5/8-11 UNC. Yes, so that looks good. Back over here, so I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. And that's how you add a hole to a cylindrical object. If you don't want to look at this work plane anymore and you'd like for it to go away, you can click on it and uncheck visibility. And so now you have your hole on a cylindrical object ready to add the actual handle for the mallet.